As a researcher, sustainability advocate, and business consultant, my social impact plan is centered on leveraging diplomatic language and governance framework to address environmental justice, political violence, and human rights violations, particularly in the Niger Delta region and in sub-Saharan Africa. And so, how would I address pressing global challenges? One of the most urgent global challenges that I have noticed is the intersection of climate change, climate governance failures, and socio-political instability. And so, in regions like the Niger Delta, where I come from, environmental degradation due to oil exploitation has fueled a lot of political violence and displacement. Yet, diplomatic negotiations often fail to address the root causes of this crisis. And so, my research and advocacy work focus on how language can be framed in diplomatic discourses to shape policy outcomes in such conflicts. Now, to address these challenges, I'll conduct policy analysis to evaluate how international agreements like the Paris Agreement, the African Union, and ECOWAS policies incorporate various environmental justice. And then I'll utilize various forms of discourse analysis to examine how these diplomatic language frameworks influences policy negotiations on climate change and on human rights. And then I'll engage in community-led assessment in different regions to document the lived experiences and policy gaps, because these are very, very important when it comes to addressing these challenges. And so there are different strategies for cross-cultural collaboration and stakeholders engagement that I would involve in my research. And that's the first thing I'll do is to bridge the diplomacy and grassroots movement. And to do that, I have to create a space where community leaders, policymakers, and international diplomats can co-create sustainable solutions for environmental and governance issues. So to facilitate policy dialogues with youth-led organizations, for example, some of the youth-led organizations where I am part of, like the Youth Against HIV and AIDS, and international bodies, and even academic institutions like Cambridge. Additionally, I'd use digital diplomacy and knowledge sharing, host webinars, panel discussions that amplify youth perspectives on governance and sustainability. I'd also use my various digital platforms to publish policy briefs and research articles and blog posts on diplomatic strategies for environmental justice, and also to design workshops to train leaders in diplomatic negotiations and environmental governance. And then with all of these, I hope to, the expected outcomes that I hope to achieve are: first, policy recommendation to provide practical frameworks to strengthen diplomatic approaches to governance, environmental issues, and youth participation. And also youth inclusion in diplomacy by ensuring that young people from various marginalized communities, like my community where I come from, have a seat at the table on in global negotiations.